Hello, and welcome to NDC Today. I'm your host, Crystal. Today, we will be talking with Dr. Odette Smith-Fort, co-founder, and Mr. Terrence Fort, executive director of the HBCU Museum here in the District of Columbia. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. And welcome back. Welcome, Dr. Smith-Fort and Mr. Terrence Fort.
Yeah.
Thank you.
How are you guys doing today?
Oh, very well.
Wonderful,
Thank
wonderful.
you. And yourself?
Awesome, yes. And so I consider it such an honor to have you guys to join me. And as you know, I just visited the museum
Yes.
about 2 days ago. And so I was at work and I called up. I said, I don't get off work until this time. Is it okay if I come? And you guys accommodated me. So
Absolutely.
thank you so much. It was an amazing experience. So let's dive right in. How did this all come about? Not every day people dream of, developing a museum.
Right.
People say, okay, I'm starting a clothing line or, doing some other things. But this is on a completely different level.
Yeah.
How did it start?
Well, I mean, there's a sense of urgency out there. I mean, we wanted to make sure and grab a hold of with, thinking about the legacies of yesterday's generation and what they've left in the world of innovation and inventions for us here today that we use in our common daily lives.
Right.
GPS from Gladys West, if we're looking at cell phones from Henry T. Sampson, where do we think these innovations come from unless we give them the facts? And so today we're here chronicling those to make sure and put it in a timeline.
Yes.
So for tomorrow's generation, the yesterday generation,
Yes.
tomorrow's generation, we can make sure and be depicted in the way it should be and be amplified on a great awareness.
Absolutely.
So we're really excited about it.
I can tell the energy in there is amazing. As
Yeah,
soon as you walk in, I mean, you're greeted with a smile and you're excited to share that information. So Dr. Odette Smith-Fort, your role that you play in this, I believe you are one of the co-founders,
Yes.
correct? And so, and you are mom,
Yes.
respectfully.
Yes.
So how do you place yourself within this organization and with this business?
Well, I always instructed my sons or advised them to remember sort of their blackness, their history and whatnot. My father was a grandson of a slave, so he always let us know that and whatnot. But he didn't, and he knew history a lot. I mean, he died at the age of 97.
Right.
And he would just sit here and tell you the history of the whole world,
Right.
just from the memory.
Just from memory.
He knew the dates and everything.
Absolutely.
He lived it.
Yes.
So my other son, Siddiqui Jason Fort, he loves history too.
Okay.
And he wanted to do history in college. And I asked him, I said, what would you do with that?
Right.
You know?
Right.
Because I expected him to probably go into engineering or something.
Or medicine. Or
And he didn't. And he would sit for weeks in his room and just look at the History Channel. He can tell you the history of everything,
Wow.
sort of.
Excellent.
And really, this is his baby.
Right.
He's the one who started, came about, started it on the
And
legacy.
develop the blueprint.
Yes.
Okay.
And brought us in, sort
Absolutely.
of.
And tell us where you're from, because definitely the
In the
tech.
accent.
Yeah.
I am from Trinidad and Tobago.
Okay.
I came to America in 1967 for higher studies.
Yes.
We lived in New York. I went to New York Institute of Dietetics.
Okay.
Excuse me. And where I became an assistant dietitian.
Yeah.
In Trinidad, for instance, it's an African and Indian from India
Okay.
society.
Okay.
It's like almost half-half
Absolutely.
and whatnot. And you sort of send yourself to school, sort of, because most people were poor at the time.
Right.
So my going to a technical school in New York afforded me the opportunity to get a job afterwards.
Okay.
Excuse me. And in so doing, I could save to get my school fees to go on to higher learning
Yes.
and whatnot. When I left Trinidad, I didn't particularly know what I wanted to do.
Right.
you know, because I'm the ninth of 10, so the rest of them, a lot of them had gone already.
Yes.
And my parents didn't push me because I was a strong-willed person too. So then I didn't know what I wanted to do. I knew what I didn't want to do, but I didn't know what I wanted to do.
Go. Okay.
Yeah, so we went. And so I did dietetics because they paid well.
Okay.
That was my factor. And after that, I decided to go on to get a bachelor's degree. And I knew many people at Howard University, plus it was a black university.
What school again?
Howard University.
Absolutely, yes.
And it was, you know, a black school, which I surely believe in supporting my blackness and being proud of it.
Okay.
So I decided to come here. All my brothers and sisters excuse me, went to white schools.
Okay.
So I'm the only one who came down
In the
here.
entire family.
In the 10 of yes.
And you chose
So
to
I
come.
had to fight to come.
Okay.
My brothers were against it, my parents were against it, and all that. And I was determined I want to go there.
Absolutely.
And again, too, I guess they wanted to keep me under their wing, maybe, I don't know, but I knew what I wanted to do. Yes.
That was for you.
So I had quite a few friends, because many Trinidadians were at Howard at the time. I knew them from Trinidad, so I wouldn't be lonely, so I knew that.
Yeah, yeah.
And I came down here, but my first semester down here, my first year, the second semester was the spring, there was an attempted coup in Trinidad. And the U.S. has a base down there, Chaguaramas military base.
Okay. So
they were very concerned, the U.S. government, and they wanted to send battleships down there to protect their citizens. This was 1969 by then. And with so many Trinidadians on campus, and we heard that battleships are going down to Trinidad, all we're thinking about is our families, and they're going down. We don't use the battleships in our waters.
Right.
So we decided to protest. So what just went on a few weeks ago was very familiar to me.
Exactly, exactly.
That was the first thing. So we took over Douglas Hall.
Wow, which is a historic building.
Yes,
on campus.
Historic. That's the social studies building.
Yes, it is.
And yes, and we went down to the U.S., to the White House in the Capitol, to let them know how we felt about that and whatnot. So.
Yeah.
So that was, they didn't send them anyway.
Okay.
We were strong, and there were a lot of Trinidadians on campus, so a lot of West Indians on campus were very politically minded, you know, about their countries. We weren't silent people.
Not at all, not at all. But I wanted to interject real quick, and the movie Tell 'Em We're Rising, I believe, was released this year by Stanley Nelson. And so he chronicled the HBCU experience. It dates all the way back to slavery, and then he brings us forward to, you know, today's time. And so that was an amazing film. I believe it was released on PBS of this year.
Yes, I understand, but I didn't look at it.
So definitely check it out. When you get an opportunity. And he talked about the importance of supporting HBCUs, just like what you guys are doing. Why is it important to support at HBCU?
I mean, I think right now, so you over history, over time, you've had 126 chronicled HBCUs. The number has depleted somewhat to 102.
Wow.
And so if we're thinking about this, how do we turn back that scale? How do we make it an increasing, incrementally growth number, and put ourselves in places where we have, you know, cultures, and we have our minority division planted, and hopefully we can expand on that. And you know, those areas where we're thinking now are like the West Coast. You know, we're thinking, you know, how does the southern or the southeast region of the United States support some of the expansive regions that don't have a HBCU presence. And so that's really our focus now, because we really think those numbers can be driven if we really just bring the awareness, and that's what this museum hopefully can do. Because it starts there first. You have to, you know, create the sense of urgency, and that's where I see in the numbers, in the statistics. And so we just want to make sure drive it in a
Yeah.
positive direction.
And definitely when you guys, when it hit the news that the HBCU Museum was coming here to the district, and then when you had the grand opening, council members, I mean, you all have interviewed, I don't know, countless people, been featured in Afro and Essence and HuffPost. How does that make you feel?
Excited. I mean, we love the support. We definitely appreciate it. We're blessed, humbled by the whole experience. We really have a great plan in place, a plan of action that's, we're in phase 1 of development,
I read
but
that,
we
yeah.
have up to phase 4 in planning already outlined.
Okay, and what year do you think you will reach the fourth phase?
So 4th years, I mean, probably 2019, 2020,
Really?
we should really be in phase 3 into 4.
Okay.
Phase 2 right now is really just trying to expand on our Atlanta, Georgia space that we're really thinking about.
Yes.
And of course, we want to have a stronghold here in DC outside of our Welcome Center that we're featured in right now.
Right.
So we have plans in place, and we're really excited about it. We're getting great support from a lot of people, a lot of alumni.
Yeah.
A lot of the schools are really showing support.
Instagram is buzzing. Facebook is just on fire.
That's what we want. That's what we want.
Yeah.
So it's great.
Okay, and then I read that you guys, you only have about 100 or so artifacts within the Welcome Center, but already you've received like 1,000 donations, and it's impossible to house all of those items.
Yes, yes.
Can you tell us a little bit more about some of the donors? I know some wish to remain anonymous, so we would definitely respect their privacy. But what are some of the items that you've received, and when do you think you'll roll those out? Maybe, I guess, in the next phase once you get a larger space.
Yeah. So definitely, we're really excited about some of the artifacts that we have. I mean, we have, of course, Benedict College, one of their annual catalogs, chronicled from 1912. It shows their first graduating class there.
Okay.
We have the first Ebony magazine that chronicled HBCU halftime experiences, and that's one of the things that I think is shared and mimicked in so many other form and facets till today.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we have the Jet magazine that chronicled the Martin Luther King's assassination, I think 2 weeks after he was, of course, assassinated.
Right.
But it was, it's just having those issues along with, some of the great stories that go along with the pictures of either the first fraternities, the first sororities,
Right.
That really paved the way, and then of course the inventions and the innovators themselves.
Yeah.
It's so much to take in, but the artifacts they're coming in an expansive way.
Okay.
We have to keep a lot of them climate controlled
I'm
and
sure.
in the right light
Because
to just
of the
make sure
age and
exactly
the
for
papers
preservation
and everything.
Right.
Yeah.
And we have Kiana Newby here. She's our vice president of affairs. She handles a lot of our artifact handling and so forth as well. So we're making sure to stay on top of it to respect the wishes of those who've kindly agreed to let us
and
expose
provided
that.
those items to you. Wow. And so let's switch gears. Who are some of those celebrities that have attended HBCUs that people probably are not aware of? They see them often, but it probably slips your mind. You don't even realize that they actually graduated from HBCU.
I was in class with Debbie Allen.
Really?
Yes, she was a senior.
Okay.
I was a sophomore at the time. I mean,
Okay.
she was ready to go out into the world.
Yeah.
But I danced with her because I was part of the modern dance club there. She was a professional. And I remember we always put on a spring concert at Howard. And when I saw her fly across the stage in high-heeled boots and landed on feet, I said, she is going to go far.
She's going to go far.
Yes,
Absolutely.
So we have her. We have Felicia Rashad, her
Yes, her
sister, as a
sister.
graduate. Roberta Flack.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so many others.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And those are the Howard alum.
Yes.
And
those
then
are
I'm
all
sure the other schools.
Some of the others,
Yes.
we have, of course, Samuel L. Jackson. We have, of course, David Banner in there. We have, to cater to tomorrow's generation, we have 2 Chainz in there. We also have Stephen A. Smith from ESPN. So we cover a lot of yesterday, today, and tomorrow. We want to make sure and amplify that through entertainment and education.
And I want to talk a little bit more about that. So everybody, we will be right back. Stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. There's so much to say. All right.
C squared. Take a look at the diagram here.
So I've come up with a family emergency plan.
Great. What is it?
It's difficult to talk about, so I'm not telling you.
How will we know what to do?
You won't.
I'm so glad I won't have to remember anything.
And me too. Thanks for this, sweetie.
Talk to your kids about who to call, where to meet, what to pack. Search Ready Kids at nyc.gov or call 311.
Music is everywhere, especially at my school.
Education Through Music Los Angeles partners with inner city schools to put music into the classroom, where music belongs.
Music is my favorite subject. My mom says it wakes up my brain. Math is kinda easier now. Next year I get to learn guitar.
Support our music programs. Please visit etmla.org.
Music is everywhere.
The way you talk, you got it. Yeah. The way you smile, you got it.
All right, welcome back, everyone. We're going to continue this amazing conversation and dive right back into where we left off. And so I would ask this question: how would you define, or what would you want this, the legacy of this generation to be?
I mean, it's really, it's something that you can't put a pulse on right now. I think there's so much innovation defined in what we can do in our advancements of our culture. There's really no limit. You can't put a cap on that, and I think that's a familiar term you hear nowadays, is no cap.
No cap.
Because we've been capped our whole lives as we can do this to an extent.
Absolutely.
And so now you're seeing a lot of the evolutionary process of limitless talent, pinnacling. You have innovations of technology, and advancements of science and so forth.
The film world is taking
correct. The
over
film world as well, entertainment industry.
And yeah,
exactly. So
Black Panther.
With that, you don't want to put any type of restraints on our culture. I think it's time for us to breathe at our highest points. Take a deep breath and and let's really
finally just exhale and just go.
Exactly.
Wow. And so I wanted to also ask you about, I know you're very much involved in the community in addition to developing the museum, but you give back. You've already started giving back.
Absolutely.
With tutoring. And so tell us a little bit more about how you involve the young people in the district.
We are big advocates of outreach in the community. You can't build any progression in what we're trying to develop if you're not implementing a lot of strategies into the community. So that comes from my background in the banking. I've always dealt with outreach campaigns and so forth. And so you want to make sure that our campaign that we have called Each is One, Teaches One brings an initiative of mentorship in not only education, but in the world of entertainment, in the world of athletics. My brother and I were recently named as board members of the Southern Maryland Junior Golf Association.
Really?
So that was exciting.
That is exciting.
That's a huge initiative where it caters the youth of tomorrow's golf future. And kind of transcends and helps them with mold into scholarships of programs that traditionally wouldn't have a golf scholarship. And so we're trying to expand on that initiative to help bring more awareness to HBCU golf talent there for us. And then, we think about, just take a step back, we think about, what if Michael Jordan went to North Carolina A&T instead of North Carolina? Where would A&T be as opposed to North Carolina's program?
Good point.
And so we think if we can transcend and kind of mold tomorrow's generation of excellence and fortitude and put them in places where HBCUs can really bring that out and thrive behind it, I think that's something to be said for in this outreach program.
And those are the opportunities for young people. Do you are you planning to do conferences and workshops?
Absolutely, absolutely. We've already started the planning process. We, like I mentioned, being recently on the board, but we've already engaged in some of the planning process. We've reached out to Thurgood Marshall Foundation. We've had several council members from local wards visit and express interest. And then, of course, outside alumni, they really want to see the program come together because it's so important.
It is important. And the museum itself, I think I read that you guys provide tutoring.
Yes. So
on site?
Not on site. Yeah. So that program is to be done on campus of each campus that we can facilitate, and It's in its infancy stages now. We have about 2 to 3 students that are really engaging in the process, but we're really trying to figure out the time schedule. And right now there's a little bit of restraints to make sure that comes to, totality. But I think we're on pace to really do great things with that.
Absolutely.
I'm really excited about that
I am too.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to jump back to you because you shared something earlier I thought was interesting. Just a quick fact, I graduated from Howard. My brother graduated from Morehouse. Yeah, but prior to him attending Morehouse, in fact, one of his counselors kept pushing and encouraging him to attend Duke. And so when I enrolled or start to attend Clark Atlanta University, and I went down there and just looked, around at the campus and saw all these positive, just black men walking around. I made the call home. I said, I think you need to consider Morehouse. He's like, I've never really heard of Morehouse. I said, go on to their website, check it out, and let me know what you think, right? And so he went against what was told to him, in high school and pushing the PWIs, as you mentioned, some of your siblings that have decided to attend predominantly white institutions. And he did enroll. That was the only school I believe he applied to. Got in, received several scholarships as well. So talk a little bit more about how can we continue to encourage students that may be at a predominantly, black high school or at, diverse schools. How can we continue to support them getting that information at that stage and making a decision early and taking the college tours? Why would you say that's important, or how can we continue to push it?
What I did early with my grandchildren, like they were 4 and 5, I took them to Howard University on Martin Luther King's birthday, because I told them this birthday is not to go on picnics, it's to do something positive. So we took some clothing down and some food, non-perishable goods and stuff, because Howard students were collecting these things. So I took them down there and I gave them a tour of the campus, and I told them, this is where you have to go to school.
Grandma said,
you
will be attending, but no, that's positive. That's awesome.
Yes, but from small they knew that they had to go there and whatnot. And that's where my husband and I met.
At Howard?
Yes, at Howard.
So you are an official bison couple.
Yes, yes.
Yes,
to the T.
literally met on campus.
Yes.
Oh, that is awesome.
Yes, we met on campus.
We celebrate bison love.
Yes,
yes.
As a matter of fact, since I went to Howard, the second generation in my family, quite a few of them have come to Howard. I didn't think about that until I just said, at least
not her sons, no.
Oh.
We went to predominantly white institutions.
You went to white school. Okay, but now the grandchildren.
The grandchildren will definitely.
Are revisiting.
But my nephews and nieces, they came to Howard, at least maybe 8 or 10 of them.
Wow.
One came from Nigeria. He was already a petroleum engineer. And two of my sisters married Nigerians. So that's how that came about. And he came to Howard to do a master's in finance. And whatnot. I didn't know he knew about Howard, but that's where he came. And he did there, and then he went on. One, he did, he started when I was just leaving. He was supposed to come and finish, and he dropped out. He did biology, he was going to medical school, he dropped out. And years later he came back and he did finish the biology and did a PhD at Howard.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So you have about maybe 10 or more
about 10, yeah.
relatives
my
that
niece
have now
met
matriculated.
her husband at Howard. Yeah. So
it's a family.
Yeah,
no pressure.
No pressure.
Okay.
Right?
No
I've already told myself I'm going to pursue an advanced degree at HBCU for sure. I know that's going to happen.
That's good.
Just to make the family proud.
Lots of and we have lots of graduates from Trinidad
You do?
From Howard, yes. When I went back to Trinidad after dental school, 10 of us went down. We had graduates and returning home.
Let me ask you this. So back in Trinidad, is it something that's discussed in school as well in terms of college options in our HBCUs?
Yes. Well, they didn't call it HBCUs because that's a recent term to me. But everybody knows about the black universities here, sort of. And when when I wanted to, as I said, to come, I didn't. Yeah, I knew I wanted to come to Howard. I did.
So you had already been hearing about it.
Yes, I'd been hearing about it before. But as I said, I had to fight with my family to get there, and I did.
Yeah.
And fought for Howard too, for the Black University, because in 1969, it was
68?
No, 69 was the first incident.
Okay.
It's about 72 or 3. They wanted to merge Howard University with Washington Technical Institute.
I didn't know that.
And, well, I'm the historian here.
Yeah, that teach me. I did not know
Yeah.
that. And I'm thinking I know a
I
lot
lived
about the
over
university.
I have been in 3 protests over the years.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. The federal government was going to merge Howard University, Federal City College, which is now University of District of Columbia. It was called Federal City College, and Washington Technical Institute, 4th thing, and DC Teachers Union.
Yes.
They were going to merge all of them into one college.
Okay.
So that was demoting Howard. Howard was already a university.
Right.
And whatever. But I think they noticed so many black professionals were coming out of Howard, so they wanted to sort of cut us down to size, you know.
I didn't say that. Look,
look,
I'll let you say that.
That's right.
I say yes.
Yeah.
So what we did, we organized on campus. When we heard that, we organized on campus. We went down there by the bus loads, down to the Capitol, and it didn't happen.
Wow.
See?
Wow.
Didn't happen.
And so just talking about protesting too and keeping these universities open literally, what is the appeal that you would make to the alum to get involved financially? Not just homecoming, not just, you know, the social aspects of things, but actually donating, giving something tangible back to their respective universities. Of course, Clark Atlanta here, Howard University.
Yes, we have to support
Why
our
is that important for the alum?
We do, because I remember a friend, she was a graduate of Howard too, and she was saying how she became a psychiatrist, she was saying how the white universities, they support their schools by whatnot, so we have to start doing that.
Yeah.
But I have been doing it. I'm a great supporter of Howard.
Good.
I have been, but I guess I can do more by encouraging some
others
of
to
my
do
other
it.
classmates.
Yeah.
To do the
And
same.
people are coming up with creative ways.
Yes.
You know, I think a couple of years ago, I know we're referencing Howard because that's our school and the emails that I receive. Yeah, and even at Clark Atlanta and I believe at Morehouse, they start campaigns where they take the year to school, and so you can double it. You know, 1867, so it'll be $18.67 per month. You know, that class would give, and you'd be surprised the amount of support that it receives. Because I think when people think you have to give back, it has to be thousands of dollars, you know, at a time, and that's not necessarily true. You can put yourself on a monthly, you know, a reminder, you know, where you have that money to be removed from your account, you know, bi-weekly or monthly.
Right.
So we're working with some of the offices on some of the universities now, working on somewhat of a contribution to the museum. That's their ideas, not mine.
Okay.
This is not one of ours that we planned, but we've actually gotten outreach and outspoken support from administration and staff on campuses now saying, look, we're going to try to put some initiatives together to help keep this, you know, growing.
The momentum going.
Because this is just so awesome. It's a great experience that most people need to have at least once. Because you still have people here that don't know what an HBCU stands for.
And tell us real quick.
Historically Black colleges and universities.
Exactly.
And, you know, I find it to be important that at least every African American knows what that means.
Absolutely.
And so if we can't do our part with creating the awareness, you know, hopefully others can in other states and other alum.
Okay. So. And quickly, I want to ask, how can people keep in contact with you guys and learn more about the HBCU Museum?
Okay, yeah, definitely. You can reach us out on our website, www.thehbcumuseum.com.
Okay.
You can find us on Twitter, on Instagram at the HBCU Museum.
Okay.
And you can find us, you can call us directly at 202-766-4756.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And I am proud to say that the museum is in my ward, which is Ward 4.
Awesome.
So welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, neighbors.
Yes. So I would like to thank Dr. Smith Fort and Mr. Terrence Fort for joining us today, and the information that they provided, please guys check them out and support them, and we'll see you next time on NDC Today.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you for having us.
You're welcome.